Dear member, good morning. I, Kalpesh Dave, Company Secretary of the company, welcome all the members to the 33rd Annual General Meeting of Gujarat Ambuja Export Limited, which is being held through video conferencing. I hope all of you are safe and in good health and stay that way. This meeting is being held through video conferencing in compliance with the applicable provisions of the Companies Act 2013, read with the various circular issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and Securities and Exchange Board of India. We have with us Mr. Manish Gupta, Chairman and Managing Director of the company, Mr. Sandeep Agarwal, Full-time Director of the company, Mr. Sandeep Singhi, Independent Director of the company, who is Chairman of the Audit Committee and Nomination and Remuneration Committee, Mr. Sudhin Choksi, Independent Director of the company, Ms. Maitri Mehta, Independent Director of the company, and Mr. Giridhar Nagaraj, Chief Financial Officer of the company. Mr. Vishwavir Sarandas, Independent Director of the company, who is Chairman of the Stakeholder Relationship Committee, have joined this meeting through video conferencing. Mr. Jinal Patel, partner of the Kantila Patel and Company, who are statutory auditors of the company, and Mr. Neeraj Trivedi, who is secretarial auditor of the company and scrutinizers of the e-voting process for this annual general meeting, have joined this meeting through video conferencing from their respective locations. Now, I will brief all the members on some general instructions for joining and voting at this annual general meeting. All the members who have joined this meeting are by default placed on mute. To avoid any disturbance from the background noise and to ensure smooth and seamless conduct of this meeting. Once the question-answer session begins, the chairman will first answer those questions which were received in advance. Thereafter, moderator will unmute members who have registered themselves as a speaker one by one. Each speaker member are requested to ask only 3 questions. Members who have not voted through remote e-voting can cast their vote through e-voting facility during this annual general meeting. The document referred in the annual general meeting notice and explanatory statements, a register of the directors and KMP, and a register of the contract or arrangement has been made available for inspection by members. As requisite quorum being present, with the permission of the chairman, I declare this meeting in this order. I would now request the chairman to take the proceedings forward. I now request to play the brief presentations of the company. I would now request the Chairman, sir, to take the proceeding forward.
Dear members, good morning. On behalf of the Board of Directors, Management and employees of Gujarat Ambuja Exports Limited, I extend a warm welcome to our 33rd Annual General Meeting. I sincerely appreciate your presence today and hope you and your family are well. Looking at the broader economic landscape, the global economy has demonstrated a remarkable resilience despite facing challenges such as global geopolitical tensions, supply chain issues, and inflation. While the global outlook remains cautiously balanced, the agribusiness sector has thrived. Driven by rising demand for food and agriculture products, our focus has been on advancing our operation, positively impacting our stakeholders. As we move past the COVID-19 pandemic, the world faced further disruption due to geopolitical conflict, notably between Russia and Ukraine. Despite these challenges, including logistical difficulties and rising costs, our commitment to growth and stakeholder engagement has remained steadfast. Our maize processing segment has continued to be a significant contributor with strong performance and consistent growth. Furthermore, our Malda unit, launched in the previous financial year, has reached an impressive 90% capacity utilization, enhancing our operational efficiencies. We are pleased to announce the successful inauguration of our 30,000 tons per annum liquid glucose plant and 15,000 tons per annum dextrose monohydrate plant at Malda, West Bengal. This expansion solidifies our position as a leading producer of liquid glucose with an enhanced total capacity of 270,000 tons per annum and a dextrose monohydrate capacity of 90,000 tons per annum. Furthermore, our sorbitol project at Hubli has commenced commercial production as of February 2024. With this milestone, Gujarat Ambuja Exports now stands as the largest sorbitol manufacturer in Asia outside China, with a total capacity of 150,000 tons per annum. We are also delighted to report that the expansion of our 900 TPD corn wet milling facility at our mother plant at Himmatnagar is progressing well, expected to reach 60% completion by the end of financial year. We remain on schedule to initiate commercial production of this greenfield project in the next financial year. Upon completion, this facility will make Himmatnagar the second largest plant in India, with a total grind capacity of 1,400 tons. Additionally, we anticipate commencing commercial production at our 1,200 TPD maize processing greenfield expansion facility in Sitarganj by the end of this quarter. As committed 2 years ago, we will be achieving 6,000 tons per day capacity of maize processing division by the end of FY 2026. The dedication of our team has been crucial in navigating the challenges of the past year. Our performance in the financial year 2023-24 has been strong, with the operational revenues at rupees 4,927 crores, EBITDA at 587 crores, net profit after tax at 346 crores, and export sales reaching rupees 1,737 crores. We are proud to be long-term net zero debt status. Sustainability is our top priority for us. We have integrated ESG, GHG framework into our business model to ensure that sustainability is at the heart of our operation. Our goal is to become the most sustainable ingredient provider in the country. We aim to offer comprehensive solution for food, pharmaceutical, the feed industry. With our 33 years of experience in the food processing, we are now expanding into fermentation industry with specialized products to support import substitute and align with the Make in India initiative. We have furthered our commitment into fermentation business in this financial year. I am delighted to announce that the construction of all the 3 fermentation projects have started, with the first fermentation project expected to commence in the last quarter of FY 24-25. The other 2 fermentation projects, one by the subsidiary and one in Gujarat Ambuja, is expected to start commercial production in FY 25-26 and FY 26-27 respectively. In closing, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our employees, customers, vendors, stakeholders, shareholders for your unwavering support and belief in our company. Your trust motivates us to achieve new milestones and continuously thrive for excellence. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a wonderful day ahead. I would now request Mr. Giridhar, CFO, to present corporate presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your taking time to join us today, and it's my pleasure to address and take you through the corporate presentation. As we all know that we are agro processing conglomerate, our main agro ingredients are to be nurtured through the nature for uninterrupted supply of agro ingredients. These agro ingredients processed in best-in-class and state-of-the-art technology, sustainably strengthening the entire supply chain. I take you through the performance, progression, and prospects of GAL, who are well known as an agro processing aggregator and anytime resource center. Our core area of activity, agro processing, we cater both domestic and overseas market, and our user industries are predominantly food, pharmaceuticals, animal feeds, nutrition industries, confectionery, paint, cosmetics, paper, and edible oil. Our vision of progress to be one-stop, one-tap, single-window solution center for all agro ingredients, to be a global leader in the field. Our mission of nurture, to identify, adopt newer and optimal technologies, voluntarily conform to international quality standards, nurture and strengthen the entire ingredient supply chain, do so in a very secure, responsible manner so that it is sustainable. Also, foster superior quality as a state of mind. The brand, the nurturing brand, encapsulates the company's mission statement, objectives, and corporate soul. A brand needs nurturing, support, development, and continuous care to thrive and grow. We at GAL are endeavoring to shape this perception. Our multifaceted processes, multi-product portfolio are corn processing, solvent extraction, edible oil refining, and hydrogenated vegetable oils, atta chakki, cattle feed, and renewable energy, along with our spinning of cotton yarn. Our corn processing, which is going to be our core segment of operations, we manufacture starch and various value-added derivatives like liquid glucose, malto, corn syrup, dextrose monohydrate, dextrose anhydrase, liquid sorbitol, maltodextrin powder, gluten meal, maize germ, dextrose syrup, corn steep liquor, and white dextrine. We have a capacity of around 13,20,000 tons per annum of corn grinding. We have our locations and presence in 5 states: Himmatnagar in Gujarat, Sisarganj, Uttaranchal, Shigam in Karnataka, Chalisgaon in Maharashtra, Malda in West Bengal, and we have, of course, already mentioned, Chairman Sir has mentioned, upcoming capacity expansions at Sitarganj and Himmatnagar. Our next segment, solvent extraction, engaged in manufacturing soya derivatives, meals, also known as de-oiled cakes, and edible oils from soya and other oil seeds. We have a capacity of around 14,85,000 tons per annum. Seed crushing capacity, we have a presence in 3 states: Kadi in Gujarat, Pithampur, Mandsaur in Madhya Pradesh, and Akola in Maharashtra. Our various products coming out of solvent extraction segment: liquid soya lecithin, defatted soya flour, soya granules and soya nuggets, soya meal, high-pro soybean meal, rapeseed meal, castor, sunflower, cottonseed, and groundnut meals. Edible oil refining, we have a capacity of 3,96,000 tons per annum. We have, again, our presence in 3 states: Kadi in Gujarat, Pithampur and Mandsaur in Madhya Pradesh, and Akola in Maharashtra. We have our brands: Ambuja Gold, Health, Magic, Sampurna, and Happy. We have all types of refined oilseed oils: soybean, cottonseed, rapeseed, sunflower, corn, groundnut, palm kernel, refined palmolene oil, and blended vegetable oil. Hydrogenated vegetable oil, we have capacity of 66,000 tons per annum. Our presence is in Gujarat, Kadi plant. Again, we have brands of Ambuja Moon, Triveni, Happy, and Ojas. We have products, Vanaspati ghee, and bakery shortenings. Spinning, we have yarn manufacturing activity of international standards. We have capacity of 65,520 spindles, around 42 tons per day. We have our plant in Gujarat, Himmatnagar. Atta Chakki, we have 1,23,750 tons per annum. Wheat processing, we have our plant in Kadi, Gujarat, and Pithampur, Madhya Pradesh. We have our brands presence in Ambuja Gold, Prime Gold, and Prime Chakki Fresh, where we have whole wheat flour and wheat flour, which is known as Maida. Cattle feed, we have capacity of 16,500 tons per annum. We have plant in Kadi, Gujarat. Again, we have our brands Ambuja Gold, Ambuja Special, Ambuja Lakshmi, and Panchratan Dans. We have made significant progress in renewable energy, comprising of wind energy, solar energy, biogas engine, and our boiler, which operates on rice husk. We have capacity of 10 megawatt of windmills, 10 megawatt of solar, biogas engine of around 8 megawatt, and 16 megawatt rice husk boiler, where we have the methodology of adopting and promoting renewable energy resources, installing power-saving equipment through biogas-based boilers, biogas engines in all our starch processing plants. And also, as a part of Greener Environment Initiative, we have process of planting trees as concurrent activity in all our plants. Some of the milestones ranging from 1986, 1990 to our current financial year to 23-24. 23-24, we have our 3 or 4 major activities which we have carried out in 23-24. We have commenced construction expansion of project of setting up 900 TPD facility at Himmatnagar. We have started 120 TPD liquid glucose plant at Malda. We have started 100 TPD sorbitol plant at Hubli. Major achievements during 2023-24. Our performance highlights of financial year 23-24. We have manufacturing prowess, ensuring quality, integrated operations for seamless growth, customers centricity, building trust, technology integration, and sustainability at the core. We have our presence in more than 80 distributors, 4,000 tons of combined capacity of corn grinding, 1,200 tons of edible oil refining, 4,500 tons of oil seed crushing. We have our presence at 10 locations across the nation. Our total investment in machinery is around 1,276 crores. We have done our capital expenditure for 181 crores during this financial year. Our financial highlights for the FY 23-24, 4,927 crores of revenue, along with 587 crores of EBITDA, 346 crores of profit after tax, with 15% return on capital employed. Our sustainability highlights during financial year 23-24, 12,37,500 KL of water treatment before discharge, 1,053.8 metric tons of recovery of waste, and 127.78 GJ renewable energy utilized. Some of our trend financial performance for last 5 years, we have grown from 3,800 crores of revenue from 1920 to 4,927 crores in 23-24, having a CAGR of around 7%. Predominant maize revenue, which almost contributes around 55 to 60% of our revenue. We have grown from 1,971 crores in 1920 to 3,400 crores in 23-24, having a CAGR of 15%. Exports, we have significant growth from 569 crores in 1920 to 1,737 crores in 23-24, CAGR of 32%. Our margins from 1920 to 91 crores, we have grown to 587 crores in 23-24, which was around 8% in 1920. We have grown to 12% in 23-24 overall, resulting in a CAGR of 19%. Profit before tax, we have grown from 181 crores to 448 crores, CAGR of 25%. Likewise, profit after tax also we have grown from 146 crores in 1920 to 346 crores in having a CAGR of 24%. Our net worth, 1,300 crores from 1920 to 2,770 crores in 23-24, having a CAGR of 20% in 5 years. CapEx, 75 crores in 1920. We have done considerable CapEx during the 5-year span, 144 crores in 2021, 277 crores in 21-22, 243 crores in 22-23. 23-24, we had a CapEx of around 181 crores, 25% of CAGR over a span of 5 years. Our export, almost around 100 plus countries worldwide. We have our footprints in most of the destinations across all continents. We have quality certificates as our accreditation, various institutions. And of course, our always slogan has been down to earth, but reaching for the skies. And once again, I thank you, all the stakeholders, all the shareholders for your presence. And I now request Chairman Saab for taking care of the rest of the proceedings.
Thank you, Girdharji, for this valuable presentation. Dear members, since the notice and board's reports are already circulated in advance, it is proposed to take them as read. Further, the statutory auditor's report does not contain any qualification, observation, or comment on financial statements for the financial year ended 31st March 2024. Hence, the same is not required to be read at this meeting. Secretarial audit report does not contain any qualification, observation, or comments except as mentioned in the form MR3. I would now request Mr. Kalpesh to take the proceedings forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Now, moving towards the question answers part. We have received question in advance from few members, which will be answered by the Chairman, sir. The first question is, how our company intends to minimize the impact of the volatility in the maize price on profitability of the company?
Thank you. So, to handle this situation, there are multiple options. One, we store our maize at our own facilities and we buy during the harvest time. We have also imported maize this financial year to mitigate the spike in the maize prices. As you know, our company exports more than 35% of the goods. So we are allowed to import maize duty free. So this is a combination of how we handle the situation. So we expect that the profit margins would be protected by a combination of efforts.
The next question is our export business purely dependent on the price differential between international and Indian maize price? Currently, international maize price are lower than the Indian maize price. Do we still expect to grow our export profitability for upcoming years?
It's a good question. The international maize prices have been on the lower side compared to the Indian maize prices. That is why your company has imported maize, which we are allowed to import. So against the import of maize, we are allowed to export, and we are able to balance our domestic purchases and import purchases. So we expect this price difference is not the only factor. We as a company are approved in a lot of multinationals. It's not only the price, it is our product quality, our location, geographical location compared to China, exports to the United States, Europe as compared to China, they have a tariff. So maize price is not the only factor. There are other factors involved in the pricing of exports, and we expect with the soft stand by the European nation and the US against India versus China, the company will benefit in the export market.
Do we sell directly to customers like Unilever, P&G, etc., or it is sold through agent or distributors?
All the multinationals are served by the company directly. We don't engage distributors and traders in between.
The next question is, are we exporting to Russia and FTA countries such as UAE, Australia and Switzerland?
Yes, we export to Russia, Ukraine, FTA countries and many more also.
The next question is, what was our overall volume growth in the maize division in both domestic and export last year, and expected outlook for the FY25 in terms of the top line and bottom line?
The overall maize segment growth was about 18%. Volume in the domestic market also increased by 17%, and you can see our export volumes increased by 21% over the previous year, and we expect export to grow. It could be balancing between the domestic market and the export market. EBITDA margins, we have always said, should be in the range of 8 to 15%.
A large number of players are adding the capacity. Do we feel it could lead to the increased capacity industry and lead to cap on the finished goods price, and what are your thoughts on overcapacity in the domestic maize processing industries?
I think the major expansion is being done by your company. We are expanding from 4,000 to 6,000. We expect another 1,000 to 2,000 ton capacity increase by the competition. Of course, there is going to be competition going ahead, but the market is also expanding. Newer markets are opening. So it is going to be the survival of the fittest. The plants, the people who have plants with the best technology and capacity will sail through the turbulent times if it comes, and we hope your company is going to is putting up state-of-the-art plants at very competitive pricing, and the cost advantage we have, we think we will be in a better position.
Can we import any quantity of the non-GM maize under advanced authorization scheme for exports?
Yes, there is no restriction to import maize under the advanced authorization scheme against export, so there is no limitation.
Is our capacity between value-added products like sorbitol, glucose, and dextrose fungible?
Yes, we can produce derivatives like sorbitol, glucose, dextrose, dextrosanhydrous, interchange depending on the demands. We can change capacity, produce one product less, produce the other products more. So we have a great flexibility in production.
How much capex is required to increase our maize processing capacity from 4,000 to 6,000 TPD, and what is the schedule for the same?
We have already given the timeline and the cost. The cost is going to be around 850 crores for Sitarganj and Himmatnagar. The timeline for Sitarganj is going to be last quarter of 24-25 and Himmatnagar last quarter of 25-26.
Annual report of the company for the financial year 23-24 mentions that the Gujarat Ambuja Export Limited enjoys the 20% domestic market share in the maize processing. It is revenue market share or capacity market share?
It is capacity and revenue both.
The Sitarganj maize expansion of 1,000 TPD was supposed to start in the June 24, but has not yet started. Any specific reason for it?
There is no specific reason. There's been heavy monsoon rains this year, and hopefully we are in the final stages of commissioning. We should be able to start commissioning in the third quarter and get commercial production in the fourth quarter.
Status of HFCS product in India and the revenue of the company from HSPS product.
We, as I think I have already replied this last AGM as well, HFCS, we have the plant, but we don't run it. We will run it when there is viability. We have the flexibility to produce other products from this plant. And at the moment, because of the sugar price, the corn price, it is not viable to produce HFCS. So we don't have any top line from the same.
We were planning to set up the 3 ethanol plants. So what is the status for the same, and what kind of the capex, revenue and margin can we expect from the same?
As I have said earlier also, the 3 ethanol plants which we were planning, we have all the permissions, but we have not yet started construction. We are evaluating still the prospects. It's become a very overcrowded industry, so we don't have any plans to start construction immediately. If there will be any change in the stand, we will inform shareholders.
What will be the impact of the maize shortage due to diversion of the maize for ethanol?
Yes, there has been some impact for the maize shortage. Fortunately, your company could import against export, so a huge amount of quantities losses have been mitigated. However, the domestic prices of maize has increased considerably. With the new change in policy from the government for the ethanol industry to allow sugar and molasses to be consumed for the production of ethanol. We expect in the Kharif crop considerable reduction in the maize prices and better availability, and Indian farmers hopefully are growing more maize. They have got good prices of maize this year, so we expect a much bigger and better crop. So the impact is going to be short-lived and we expect better crops ahead.
Considering the raw material situation, are we planning to postpone our expansion for maize segment?
There is no plans to stop expansion for the maize segment. We are already committed. As I've already said, Sitarganj is about to start production. Himmatnagar will start in next financial year. So we are on track.
Could you highlight the launch of fermentation capacities along with the potential scale economics such as the margin, working capital, assets turnover, etc.?
As we have said earlier also, we are going to put 3 fermentation plants. Exact product capacities, working capital requirements, turnover, we will not be able to disclose at the moment. As and when the production will start, we will inform the shareholders in due course.
Technology partner for our fermentation product is finalized or not?
All the formalities for the fermentation, as I have already said, is already in place. Technology partner, equipments, land, buildings, the construction is started at all the 3 sites. So everything is finalized.
Could you brief us on the fermentation industries in India?
Fermentation industry is a very vague, large subject, but all I can say, your company is going to produce 3 products which are 100% import substitutes in India, and this is fermentation from sugar, dextrose. So they are going to be unique products, not yet being manufactured in India. So after hopefully starting 3 plants, we think there will be further scope to expand in this division and segment.
What are the products in the fermentation business that we are exploring?
As I said, we cannot disclose the exact product at the moment. We will inform when we commence production.
What factor should we focus on to understand the cyclicity in agro processing segment, and what was the inventory loss in our oil business?
Yes, there has been some inventory losses in the oil business. The oil prices have dropped considerably. The world had a very big crop in Argentina, Brazil and the US, and the Indian domestic oilseed crop prices also decreased a lot. The cycle is not very big or complicated. It's one of those years where the impact has been felt because of the decline in the prices. We hope with this good monsoon this year and the prices of edible oil and the oil seeds at record low, future 2 quarters and the future year, we should be able to come back strongly in this division as well.
If we look at other edible oil companies, their profitability has started improving in the last 2-3 quarters, but same is not visible in our company. Can you please explain?
As I said, things are changing, improving. So we expect better times ahead for the agro processing division. It's an overcrowded division although, but we are hopeful to have better performance in this division in the year to come.
Our agro processing division had reported 7 crore loss in FY24 against profit of 165 crore in FY21. Can you please elaborate?
The 165 crore profit was unusual due to COVID pandemic, huge escalation in the prices of feedstock, edible oil, seeds, and the loss is because of inventory losses. So hopefully things will balance out for the future.
When are we going to reach 10,000 crore revenue? Will it be possible in next 2 financial year?
We hope, I don't know about 2 years, but we hope to reach this milestone figure soon.
In July 21, we took a approval for 1,000 crore for QIP private placement, but we have never exercised these options.
Yes, we had availed the sanction, but we did not require to be availed. At the moment, there is no plan to avail. We have a strong cash flow, so we don't need to. We will not be availing of this QIP at the moment.
How do we think about the scaling up our business throughout the inorganic route?
We are looking for opportunities if it comes, but we have huge greenfield projects expansion in place, and to be the leader, we need to have quality assets. So I don't see any quality assets available. If they will be, we will be interested.
Can you elaborate on the government regulations regarding the import of the maize for the starch industries?
There is no regulation. It is just we can import maize against export duty free. So it's there is no other further regulation or restriction or a ban for the import of maize for the starch industry. We are allowed to import maize freely against export.
What is the progress on the Maize Sitchem Limited fermentation product, and how much capex done so far for the Maize Sitchem Limited?
So far we have done about 25 crores has been spent, and the next 250 crores, 300 crores will be spent in the next 18 months. So hopefully in the next 2 years we will complete.
What was the rationale for diluting the shareholding of the company in the Maize Sitchem Limited?
I think it was done in the best interest for all the stakeholders of GAL, and it was in the best interest.
Thank you, sir. I now request a moderator to unmute the members in sequence who have registered themselves as a speaker. A speaker member are requested not to repeat the question which are already answered by chairman. Now I request a moderator to unmute Mr. Manjeet Singh from Delhi. Mr. Manjeet Singh?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning.
कंपनी की मैनेजमेंट टीम, कैपिटल टीम और माय को शेयर होल्डर, मैं सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। पहले तो मैं अपने बोर्ड को जो है, जो अभी हाल ही में आपने बोनस दिया था इस ईयर के अंदर, उसकी मुबारकबाद देना चाहूँगा। और सर, हमारी प्रमोटर होल्डिंग करीब 63% है। क्या इसमें कुछ इजाफा करने का आपका इरादा है? अगर कुछ ऐसा है तो आप इस बारे में बताइए। हमारे सीएस साहब से मैं गुजारिश करना चाहूँगा कि इस क्वार्टर के अंदर ये किस तरह की हमारी जो है इन्वेस्टर कंप्लेंट आई हैं, इसका क्या कारण रहा है और इनमें कितने का सलूशन किया गया है। करीब वो जैसे क्रिकेट में 11 प्लेयर होते हैं खेलने वाले, तो करीब करीब ये पूरी क्रिकेट टीम जितनी कंप्लेंट है। तो इसके क्या कारण रहे हैं? हमारे कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस ओके नहीं है, और इन जो कंप्लेंट्स आई हैं इन्वेस्टर कंप्लेंट, इनका क्या हल किया गया है। फाइनेंस कॉस्ट जो है हमारी 13 करोड़ 26 लाख के मुकाबले 18 करोड़ 38 लाख रुपया हमने खर्च किया है इस साल में। इसकी इजाफे की क्या वजह रही है? ये जो ऑडिटर हैं हमारे स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर, ये एक ही हैं या ऐसे मुझे पढ़ने में गलती आई है कि ये दो हैं, कांतीलाल पटेल और अर्पित पटेल एंड एसोसिएट? अगर ये दो ऑडिटर हमने रखे हैं तो इसकी क्या वजह रही है? और ये जो इनको हम पे कर रहे हैं 33 लाख 89 ऐसे करके कुछ है, और 6 लाख 90 हजार रुपया जो है अदर सर्विस के लिए हम इन्हें पेड कर रहे हैं। ये अदर सर्विस हम इनसे किस तरह की लेते हैं, और क्या वो वजह है कि वो उसके चार्जेस लेते हैं? ये कंप्लीट पैकेज नहीं मिलता क्या कोई सैटरडे ऑडिटर का? ये अदर एक्सपेंसिव के नाम पर ये क्या ये जीएसटी लगाया है इन्होंने, या कोई अलग इन्होंने कोई फेस्टिवल चार्जेस लगाए हैं? इसकी क्या वजह है? जिसने इन्हें बुक किया है उन्होंने इसके बारे में इनसे क्या पहले बात नहीं करी? और ये जो ऑडिटर हमारे रहते हैं ये कितने साल के लिए रेगुलर रहते हैं? कोई रोटेशन प्लान भी होता है इनका कि इनको चेंज किया जाता है टाइम के हिसाब से? क्योंकि जब मैंने अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट शुरू किया था 2005 के अंदर, तो एक ये सैटरडे ऑडिटरों के कारण ही एक घोटाला हुआ था, सत्यम घोटाला, जिसमें जो है आंकड़े गलत तरीके से पेश किए जाते थे। तो ये जो एक जगह ही बैठ जाते हैं ऑडिटर, इनको कोई चेंज करने की कोई है पॉलिसी, या ये हमेशा फिक्स है? ये थोड़ा इस बारे में अगर आप बताएंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा। 2023-24 के अंदर हमने जो है अदर इनकम डबल कमाई, और अदर इनकम के अंदर हमारे क्या इनकम होती है, और इस साल भी हम अदर इनकम के आंकड़े को इतना ही मजबूत रख पाएंगे? करीब 73.88 के मुकाबले इस साल जो है 144.55 करीब डबल हमने कमाए हैं अदर इनकम। इसकी हम आपको मुबारकबाद देना चाहेंगे। इन्वेस्टर हमारे शेयर में जो बीएससी का कोड है 524226, उसमें निवेश करता है, सिंबल हमारा GAEL है। तो हम अपनी कंपनी को और अपने सेक्रेटरियल डिपार्टमेंट, ये जो इन्वेस्टर कंप्लेंट ये एक फेज करता है शेयर होल्डर, ये बिल्कुल सही चल रहे हैं या इनमें कुछ और इम्प्रूवमेंट की चांस है? कुछ आप इस बारे में बताइए। हम फूड प्रोसेसिंग है अंदर हैं, तो आपने प्लांट के अंदर कितना हम ध्यान रखते हैं अपना साफ सफाई का? आजकल तो जो दवा कंपनियां हैं, जैसे आप 100 से ऊपर करीब करीब एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं कंट्रियों में, तो जिन कंट्रियों को आप एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं उनमें से कोई हमारी कंपनी के प्लांट वगैरह का कोई क्लियरिफिकेशन करता है, या हम उसको अपने आप ही मेंटेन रखते हैं? थोड़ा आप इस बारे में बताइए। ये 100 के करीब हमारी जो कंट्री हैं जहां हम एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं, उनमें से मेजर पार्ट किन कंट्रियों का है? थोड़ा आप इस बारे में अगर बताएंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा। ये एक CSR कमेटी के अंदर हमारे मनीष गुप्ता जी हैं, संदीप अग्रवाल जी हैं, और सुदीन चौधरी जी हैं। मनीष गुप्ता जी ने 4 में से 3 मीटिंग अटेंड करी, संदीप अग्रवाल जी ने 4 में से 3 अटेंड करी, और सुदीन चौधरी जी ने 4 में से 4 करी। अगर ये बाकी के 2 मेंबर प्रेजेंट नहीं हुए तो इन्होंने खेल खेला किसके साथ? जब ये इन्होंने जो है वो चौथी मीटिंग अटेंड करी, वो किसके साथ करी? वो कौन लोग थे? वो अकेले ही इन्होंने अटेंड करी, या क्या डिसीजन लिया? अकेले ही लिए डिसीजन उन्होंने? अगर 3 आदमियों में से 2 नहीं आते तो तीसरा आदमी किसके साथ मीटिंग करता है? थोड़ा आप इस बारे में बताएं तो थोड़ा हमें नॉलेज होएगी कि भाई जमाना बदल गया है, और अगर 3 आदमियों में से 2 नहीं आते तो तीसरा आदमी किसके साथ मीटिंग करता है? थोड़ा आप इस बारे में बताइए। हमारे जो मनीष गुप्ता जी हैं चेयरमैन सर, इनको कमीशन के रूप में किस तरह से ये 38 करोड़ और 50 लाख रुपए पेड किया जाता है? क्या एक्टिविटी करते हैं? मार्केट के अंदर करते हैं, या इन्होंने फिक्स किया हुआ है कि जो भी सामान आया जाएगा इसमें मेरी कमीशन पक्की है? ये कब तक ये रहेगा? क्या ऐसे आने वाले टाइम में कोई पॉलिसी चेंज होगी ये कमीशन की? अगर कुछ होएगी तो ये कंपनी के हित में रहेगा, और EPS हमारा कंपनी का बढ़ेगा, अर्निंग पर शेयर, उससे प्रमोटरों को भी फायदा होगा और शेयर होल्डर को भी फायदा होगा। हम डिवर्सिफाइड बिजनेस के अंदर है हमारी कंपनी, तो हमने बोनस दिया, उसका हम स्वागत करते हैं। सर आने वाले टाइम में कोई हमारी कंपनी जैसे बिजली के अंदर भी है और खाद्य पदार्थों के अंदर भी है। ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है कि डीमर्जर का कोई बोर्ड मीटिंग के अंदर कोई विचार हो? हमारी कंपनी इस पोजीशन में है कि डीमर्जर आ सकता है, इसकी हमारी सोच है। आपने ब्रांड अपने
Mr.
बताए,
Manjit Singh,
हमें
Mr.
अच्छा
Manjit Singh,
लगा। हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
you are requested to restrict your the question to 3 questions only because we have many more speaker for this AGM and we
चलो
cannot
जी,
answer
समेटते हैं,
for
आपकी
all
बात की भी
10
रिस्पेक्ट
15
करते हैं
questions.
अब। हाँ,
If
दो
you can
मिनट
send
लगेंगे
us
भाई,
the
एक मिनट
question,
में।
we will give you
हाँ हाँ,
response in writing.
ठीक है, ठीक है। जिस तरह से आप हंसते मुस्कुराते हुए एजीएम को अटेंड कर रहे हैं और शेयर होल्डर के साथ ब्रीफ कर रहे हैं, इसी तरह से हम चाहेंगे कि आगे आप कंपनी को इसी तरह हंसते मुस्कुराते हुए चलाएं। और जो है, भगवान से भी यही कामना करेंगे कि हमारी कंपनी दिन दूनी रात चौगुनी तरक्की करे। और सेक्रेटरिएट डिपार्टमेंट का भी धन्यवाद, जिन्होंने हमें जोड़ने में से आपसे मदद करी, उनका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। बस एक लास्ट यही कहना चाहूँगा कि हमारे ब्रांड किन प्रदेशों में हैं। मैं दिल्ली का बाशिंदा हूँ। क्या दिल्ली एनसीआर के अंदर भी आने वाले टाइम में कोई लॉन्चिंग होएगी आपकी, या ऑलरेडी किन्हीं जगहों पर आपके प्रोडक्ट बिकते हैं? हमने कभी देखे नहीं आपके प्रोडक्ट इधर नॉर्थ इंडिया में, तो ऐसा कोई प्लान है कि इधर भी आप एक्सपेंशन करें? थैंक यू फॉर द मैनेजमेंट टीम, थैंक यू फॉर द सेक्रेटरी टीम।
मिस्टर मंजीत सिंह जी, आपके क्वेश्चंस बहुत ज़्यादा थे और आवाज़ आपकी अच्छी से नहीं आ रही थी। हमारे कंपनी सेक्रेटरी ने आपके क्वेश्चन सब नोट कर लिए होंगे और हम एक एक करके आपको उसका जवाब ईमेल से भेज देंगे। उसके बावजूद भी अगर आपका कोई सवाल अनआंसर्ड हो तो हम दोबारा कोशिश करेंगे कि जवाब दें। I am requesting the speakers to be crisp and clear with 3 questions. Thank you. Next.
Now I request moderator to unmute Mr. Aditya Khandelwal from Mumbai.
Hello, good morning. Am I audible?
Good morning. You are audible.
Yes, sir. Sir, my first question is on this 1,000 crores capex which we are going to do in fermentation. So, is this going to be done in maize sitchem, the whole capex, or it is going to be done in a standalone business as well? And how is the funding going to be for this 1,000 crores capex? So, second, this transaction which we did for transferring the shares of maize sitchem to SMS investors. At what valuation was it done, and what was the purpose of this transaction? And sir, if the capex is going to be done in maize sitchem, is it that the funding is going to be done by a standalone business, and that is how we will fund our capex? And sir, if you could just clarify what was the purpose of this transaction, because in the investor community, prima facie, this transaction looks like it is not in the benefit of the minority shareholders. So if you could just clarify a little why was this transaction done, that would be really very helpful, sir. So next was the fermentation products. So you said that you can't name the product, but if you could just help us understand what are the application of these products, where are these products used, and who would be some of the competitors in this business. So third is the maize price. We have seen an increase in maize prices. So is there any ability of the company to pass on these prices to the customers, or we have to take the hit of these increased raw material prices? So if you could just clarify if there is price pass through available for the company. So next is on the export markets. So if you could just clarify, we export to more than 100 countries for our maize products, but if you could just clarify which would be the top 4 to 5 geographies where we are predominantly major, and who would be the competitors in those geographies? And sir, in the exports, what would be the share of MNCs versus the share which we sell to dealers or distributors? And sir, last question was...
Mr. Khandelwal, you are requested to restrict to 3 questions only. Rest
Yeah, just last question
to us,
was...
we will give you response in writing.
So just last question was there on this agro processing. The losses which were there were only because of inventory losses, or there was losses because of increased investments for our B2C branded business? Because in the previous AGMs we have talked about increasing our B2C share of the business. So losses are because of inventory losses or increased advertisement and branding spends. That was all from my side, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'll try to answer some of them. First, maize prices have increased and we are able to pass on the price increase of finished products to our consumers. So it's not, there could be some time lag, but it is passed on. On the capex of 900 crores in the fermentation, as we had said, it is going to be, some of it is going to be in the subsidiary Maize Sitcam, and 2 projects are in Gujarat Ambuja exports. All the funding is going to be done in-house through internal accruals. We are not going to borrow at the moment. The Maize Sitcam funding is also being done through GAL. So it's all going to be through internal accruals. The products which you are asking is used primarily in the food, pharma, construction, oral, many industries. So it's going to be part of our existing consumer chain. The products are different, so we will inform you once we start the production. On exports to which countries is the top exports? Our Southeast Asia is the largest export buyer of all our products, including countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Korea, Japan. This contributes about 60%. The rest 40% comes from all across the world, including the US, Europe, Africa, South America, across all regions. On the losses of edible oil, it is basically inventory losses. This could be this is one time. There has been spend on the branded product sales, but that's not very significant contributed to the loss. So the main contributor has been the inventory losses and the price reduction.
Now I request the moderator to unmute Mr. Anupam Sahani from Ahmedabad. Mr. Anupam. Mr. Anupam Sahani has not joined. Moderator to unmute Mr. Senthil Manikandan from Salim.
Good morning, sir. And
Mr. Senthil, your voice is not audible to you.
am I audible now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
better.
Good morning, sir. And it was great to see that you have been answering questions one by one, and it's very much of helpful to the entire investor community. It's great because to conduct the AGM in such a wonderful way. So just 2 questions from my side, sir. First, on the fermentation side, what's the logic behind having projects both under the GAIL and under a MAID sitcom? So since you're doing projects under both the entities, so any rationale behind having fermentation projects within GAIL and also under the MAID sitcom? So that's my first question, sir. And second, on the 900 crore capex split between the 3 projects, so if you can share the split of 900 crores across all the 3 projects, that will be great. That's probably 2 questions from my side.
So I'll try to answer your second question first. 900 crores is going to be spent in 2 phases. In the first phase, we are spending 500 crores. This will start the three plants. The 400 is going to be spent in the second phase. Your other question, what is the rationale to put it in 2 separate companies? There is no rationale as such. We had the permission in different companies, and we expect to grow this business even further. So we thought it will be better to have it in a separate company. So it's a clear different product. So it's always going to be better to have it in a separate entity.
Moderator, you unmute to Mr. Nikhil Upadhyay from Ahmedabad. Mr. Nikhil Upadhyay has not joined this meeting. So can you please unmute Mr. Keshav Garg from Ranchi?
Sir, thank you very much for this opportunity. Sir, I just wanted one clarification, sir, that are we allowed to import GM corn also under advice authorization scheme for exports? And sir, also, sir, what kind of volume growth in maize processing can we see in FY25? Sir, also, sir, what is the average EBITDA per ton in maize segment? And sir, what kind of average operating margins can we expect over there? So when will our maize derivative capacity revenue hit 45% of our total maize revenue? So what is the normalized inventory turnover in maize processing division? Sir, what is the normalized EBITDA per annum in solvent extraction division? And sir, lastly, sir, who have we sold this 25% in maize Sitchem to? Have the promoters bought this? And sir, also, I think only 5 crore worth of minority interest is there, and whereas the company has around 1,000 crore of free cash, net cash balance, so there is no need for dilution in this subsidiary. So I would request you for to kindly buy back and make it wholly owned subsidiary. And sir, if the promoters want a higher economic interest, so they can easily increase their shareholding from 64% to 75% by doing a share buyback. So I think that's the correct way to go about it. So kindly consider this request. Thank you very much and best of luck. And so lastly, also.
Okay, so I'll try to answer some of them. We are not allowed to import GM maize. We are only allowed to import non-GMO maize against export and under advance authorization. On the profitability, we have already said the profitability is in the range of 8 to 15%. We don't calculate per ton of profitability for our corn grinding, so it's always in the range of 8 to 15%. The other we have already answered earlier, so it's repetitive questions. Can we move ahead?
Sure. Moderator, you unmute Mr. Manmohan Dang from Delhi.
Respected Chairman, Shri Manish Gupta ji, other Board of Directors and shareholders attending this call. I am Manmohan from Delhi, and very good afternoon to all of you. The elaborate presentation given by Manishi, and thereafter the Q&A where you replied a lot of questions. And on the top of it, previous shareholders have asked a lot of questions. You have said that to the first, say, shareholder, you will respond back by mail. But those were bit interesting questions. If they can be, say, given in the public domain, it will help shareholder like me to understand the company's view onto that. Nonetheless, like I must say appreciate the working of the say year under review. We have grown despite the challenging say geopolitical tensions, and on the top of it, our main say bread earner being the maize, where the prices have not were were remained very muted. Rather, they have fallen down. So in that context, what we have done is pretty much fine, and I look forward to a very say bright say future for us. Having our interest apart from in agro in say textiles with our spinning division and say in power also. I would like to understand that how the company sees these two verticals to scale up just to say grow in these, because you see maize is driven by the say pricing factor. Even these things, power and spinning also, they are say price sensitive. But if we have if we can focus on this, maybe we will continue to say grow better. And one more small question, that can we consider say making these as separate entities as a subsidiary to us, and you can always say distribute shares to the existing shareholders. But there is no need to list them at this moment. Whenever in future, maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whenever the board will decide, you can then list them also and spin off as a separate entity all together. So these are few words. I must appreciate uh, the good work done by our say secretarial department and the chief of finance. Uh, I will also request, if possible, then do consider. I'm in Delhi. I have not seen the products. If you can send some samples which we can use of maize, it will be very helpful.
I think most of the questions of Mr. Manmohan have already been answered previously, so we'll go ahead with the next speaker.
Sure. Moderator, to unmute Mr. Anand Bhavnani from Gandhidham.
Management, thank you for the opportunity. First of all, I would love to congratulate the management for unwavering focus on growth. We rarely see companies with such aggressive growth mindset. So thank you for your unwavering efforts. I have two questions. One is on the fermentation products business that we are entering. Here, since it's import substitution, can you give us a sense whether we would need some duty protection for us to make the targeted rate of return? And importantly, once our 900 crore capex is done, what percentage of the market share in these import substitute products are we aiming at? So these are the two questions related to fermentation products. And then the third question is about our overall employee count coming down significantly. It has come down from 2875 to 2590. So is it largely in textiles division, or if you can give us some context around the reason for this employee count coming down? And lastly, from the investments in the brands, is there a number that you are trying to get to in terms of revenue for our branded products? And is there a overall investment figure for that particular segment that you have in your mind in terms of, let's say, certain amount, 100 crores or 50 crores? If you can give us some context around investment for the brands business, the wheat and the edible oil business. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll try to answer some of them. There is not major duty protection for the fermentation products which we are going to make, but there's around, the duty is around maximum 15%. Our percentage should be around 30% after we start all the products. 30% should be the import substitute quantities. Our employee count has mainly come down, as some of it is because of the textile, and majority is because of the automation we have done in all our plants, across all our plants. We don't have a big number to give you for the amount we're going to spend on the brands, but we are continuously going to spend year on year some amount, respectable amount, to create the brand for the agro division. Thank you.
Moderator, you unmute Mr. Anupam Sahani from Ahmedabad. Mr. Anupam Sahani.
Yeah, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, not
Thank you. I'll just restrict myself to one question. Sir, on the dilution, MCL maize sitcam dilution, you mentioned that, this is in the best interest of all stakeholders. Sir, we have, sufficient cash balance on the books, and we are generating a good cash every year. So how do you think, and why do you say that, this will be in the best interest of all shareholders?
Yeah, I've already answered this, but just to elaborate, this was pre-decided, pre-planned, and hopefully it will be in the best interest of all the shareholders. The time will say what is the best interest, and I'm very sure it has been done in the best interest. Thank you.
Moderator, you unmute Miss Jyotika from Amritsar. Miss Jyotika?
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Voice is not audible to us.
Good morning, sir. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for the opportunity, sir. So, my first question is, with spinning division even lagging this year, why has company not taken any appropriate decision as told in last AGM? And my second question is, with government allowing sugar in ethanol 2 days ago, what do you expect maize price and effect on company? And sir, any guidance for revenue and profit for current year? Thank you, sir.
Can you just repeat your first question again? Spinning. Okay. Okay, so with the government allowing the sugar industry to produce more ethanol, we believe that the maize prices will soften in the Kharif crop. So it will be beneficial for your company. And the spinning division, we are evaluating options, and we will take appropriate decision accordingly.
Moderator, you unmute Mr. V. Raja from Delhi.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. Just two questions. Do we intend to allocate any further capital in the textile and agro processing division? That's the first part. And the second part, I think a lot of stakeholders have raised this question regarding dilution in maize sitchem. And you mentioned that it's in the best interest of all the stakeholders. So are all the rest of the board of directors, so maybe this is a question not to the chairman, but the rest of the directors, were all directors on board with this decision of diluting a 25% stake in an entity for just 5 crores, where the company will spend about 250 to 300 crores as capex, as the chairman mentioned during the meeting itself, and maybe assuming even an 8% profit margin on that one, a 24 crore EBITDA business has been diluted a 25% stake for just 5 crores. So maybe this is a question to the other directors. And one question to the chairman was if we intend to allocate any further capital in the textile and the agro processing division. Thank you.
So at the moment, we don't have any capex plan for the agro division and the spinning division. So at the moment, we are not going to spend any more significant amount of capital for these two divisions. If in case there will be any requirement, we will have a look at it.
Thank you. Moderator, you unmute to Mr. Ravi Kumar Mahato from Delhi. Mr. Ravi Kumar Mahato has not joined this meeting. So can you please unmute Mr. Deep Gandhi from Surat?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Gandhi.
Sir, yeah, sure. So, sir, first question is around this maize sitchem. So, a lot of shareholders have tried to get your reasoning on this, but you mentioned that it was pre-decided. So, So if it was pre-decided, shouldn't it have been discussed or mentioned it to shareholders in the last AGM itself as a good corporate governance practice? And a related question to that is, sir, can you mention what amount of investments will be done through Mase Sitchem, the quantum of investments, and will the higher margin products will be through Mase Sitchem? Should we expect that going ahead? So my second question is on the again on the fermentation side. So I understand that the first product we are trying is a acidic product, and we are setting up a capacity which is equivalent to almost 50% of India's demand based on the data which I have. So have we got any kind of PLI benefits from the government or and also so do we have any kind of offtake agreements with the customers since we are setting up a significant capacity? And a related question to this is what would be the margin profile for this product and will the margins here be more stable? Because from what I understand, the finished product prices of this product itself have been very volatile in last 1 2 years. So do we expect stable margins here? So my next question is on the maize processing side. So we reported 10% EBIT in the last 2 quarters. So should we consider this as bottom margins? Because I think I've been attending the AGMs for 4 5 years, and you always mention the range to be 12 to 20%. And if you can mention why the margin range has now been brought down to 8 to 15%, what is the reason for this? And sir, a related question to this is we had 90% utilization in Malda, but if I see the revenue growth for FY24, it was only 7%. And you mentioned that the raw material prices have increased significantly. So, sir, why haven't we seen value growth? Because we should have passed it on to our customers, right? So, why the growth has seen a significant degrowth while the volumes have grown significantly? And so, my last question is, so I had heard your presentation which you had given at FICCI Maize Summit 2 years back, where you had mentioned that maize as a product has capabilities to manufacture very high value-added products with realizations ranging to 600 to 1000 rupees a kg. So, sir, is it fair to assume that going ahead through fermentation, we are trying to enter those kind of products? And if you can at least give some idea what are these kind of products, if you can share some names, the market size of these products, that would be very helpful. So, thank you for this.
Thank you. 2 years back, I had mentioned in FICCI product range of 600 to 1000 rupees kg. We don't have any comments on the same. We will inform shareholders when we are going to take any steps on the same. The product, what you are saying, whether we've got any PLI, we have not got any PLI benefit. We are still evaluating. Volatility in the fermentation business, what you are predicting, I am not aware. But we are going to manufacture, as I said, products which are substitutes, and we have done our market research properly, so we are very confident on the same. On the profitability on the maize division, is it on the bottom side, 10%? We have always mentioned we will be in the range of 8 to 15%. Yes, our earlier targets were in the range of 12 to 20%, but because of the maize prices being very volatile now, we estimate the range to be in the 8 to 15%. Your one question on the revenue of, in spite of Malda doing 90%, this is for the last financial year. The maize prices were significantly lower compared to the previous year, so the top line has grown only 7%. We expect the top lines to grow in this financial year because of the maize prices, and margins to be in the range of 8 to 15% respectively. Thank you.
If any of your question has not been answered during this question answer session, you may write to us. CS Neeraj Trivedi, Practicing Company Secretary, has been appointed as a scrutinizer for conducting e-voting process in fair and transparent manner for this annual general meeting. The e-voting facility will be available for next 30 minutes for those members who have not yet cast their vote. The meeting shall stand concluded at the end of 30 minutes. The combined result for remote e-voting and e-voting during the annual general meeting will be displayed at the registered office of the company and will be placed on the websites of the company. The result will also be submitted to the stock exchange as per the relevant provisions of the Companies Act and the SEBI regulations. I present a vote of thanks to Chairman Sir and express my gratitude to members for their cooperation and announce closure of proceedings of this 33rd Annual General Meeting of Gujarat Ambuja Exports Limited. Thank you. Wish you all the healthy time ahead.